we're going to begin the second segment of the video, which is the middle part of the lesson, inshallah. So let's continue with the Battle of Uhud. So the Battle of Uhud took place between the Quraysh of Makkah, the non-believers, and the Muslims who were based in Medina. The Quraysh planned for this battle for a whole year. The Prophet ﷺ learned of this battle that was going to take place, and he managed to rally up 1,000 of the Ansar and the Muhajirin to fight for him. And he had 50 archers as well, part of his cavalry. When they got closer to the battlefield, one of the leaders of the Muslims decided he is not going to take part of the battle. And that is known as a munafiq, a hypocrite. So he took 300 of his people away from the Prophet ﷺ, which left him now with only 700 in his cavalry to fight against the Quraysh. So he was now 700 with 50 archers, and I think he had about 2 horsemen alone. That was a part of his own horse. The Quraysh tribe had an army of 3,000 people in their cavalry with 200 horsemen. So we can see that the difference between the two armies are quite huge. Eventually, the next morning, they head to Mount Uhud, which is a mountain close in Medina, not that far from the Haram. And the Prophet stations themselves at the beginning at a stretch of land of Mount Uhud. And he tells his 50 archers to go to a hill, it's called Mount Hill of Rumah. And he says, he gives them a stern instruction to not leave this hill even if the birds are picking on us. You stay there when we are winning, and you stay there if we are losing, but do not leave your post at all. And the reason for this was that they could protect the Muslim army from behind, so that no one could come and flank them from the sides or from behind. Eventually, when the two armies come to meet each other, it begins with a duel. A duel is when two people fight each other. From the Muslim army, Ali ibn Abi Talib goes forward, and from the non-Muslims, Talha ibn Abu Talha comes, and they fight each other. Ali, with all his might, wins the duel. And another non-Muslim comes and he wins that person. And another non-Muslim comes and he wins that person. And so obviously the morale of the Muslims are getting heightened. Eventually the general battle begins where they go at each other. The Muslim army actually starts succeeding in this battle, and the non-Muslims starts turning away and running away. They even had the non-Muslim women there beating drums and making music to encourage them to fight. And though the Muslims were only 700, they were being successful in this battle. Then the non-Muslim women also turned around and they started running away. Now this is the turning point in the battle. The 50 archers who were placed on the hill of Rumah saw the scene. And in an instant they changed and they shouted the booty, which is the thing that they are going to gain now from this battle. And they immediately left their post on the Mount of Rumah and they disobeyed the Prophet ﷺ. Now the non-Muslims actually see that the archers are no longer at their post. And what do? They start flanking them from both sides, coming from behind. And this is how the Muslims are defeated in battle. The Prophet ﷺ sees them leaving their post and he's shouting for them to say, and he's saying, come back, but nobody's listening. Why? What is their end goal? Someone shouted, booty. So their end goal was greed. They saw the reward before the battle was actually over. But then the end result was that the Muslims as a whole were actually defeated in the battle because of disobedience to the Prophet's instruction by a mere 50 archers who did not listen to him. Now that is the summary of the battle, a brief summary of the battle. In the Qurayshi tribe, we had Khalid ibn Walid, and at that time he was actually a non-Muslim who was fighting against the Muslims. Also, another person that was very important to the Prophet ﷺ died. He was one of the first martyrs. Do you know the uncle's name of the Prophet ﷺ? Hamza, the Lion of Allah. Yes, he was actually killed. There was an Abyssinian slave who was very good at javelin. And his owner promised him, if you could kill Hamza today with your javelin, I will set you free. So he stood behind a rock and he timed and he watched Hamza all the time. And when it was the perfect time, he threw his javelin and struck Hamza and he died. And he was the first martyr of the Muslims in the Battle of Uhud. And he was the uncle of the Prophet, so it was very sad for him to see. But the others that were Muslims said, if he could die for the Prophet and for the sake of Allah, then so should we. Because what is our end goal as Muslims? It is Jannah. And it is to be with our Prophet again. We are fighting for the sake of Allah. So, for your activities, I would like you to please draw the weapons that you think they used in the battle. We spoke of a duel, we spoke of horsemen, and we spoke of archers. So think of all the weaponry that they could have used in the battle. And then the two of you, I would like you to act out the skit of the duel. The first duel that I explained of Ali and Talha ibn Abi Talha, the Muslim and the non-Muslim. Just act it out for a few minutes so the class can see what it was like. And then for the two of you ladies, I'd like you to give a brief explanation as to why do you think the defeat happened of the Battle of Uhud and what was the motive of the archers leaving from your point of view. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to begin and organize yourselves. We have a few more seconds left. How are you ladies doing? Okay, so who's the Muslim and who is the non-Muslim? MashaAllah.
I am the non-Muslim.
You the non-Muslim on the Quraysh okay.
Victory to the Quraysh.
Allahu Akbar.
I am the father.
Shukran. Okay, the next student, are you ready with your drawing?
So there were 50 archers, and they were placed on the hill of Umrah by strict order of the Prophet to humanity, so that the army of the Quraysh could not attack the Muslims from the back or from the sides. They were supposed to protect the people, and they were ordered there to remain there no matter what. But they saw the people winning and the non-Muslim women running away, and they heard them singing Urdu. And they thought of the reward of the battle instead of what was actually going on. So they got greedy and they moved from their places, and what happened was that the army started attacking from the side and from the back because they saw that the army had moved and they defeated.
Shukran very much. Okay, and the next student, can you just stand up for us and show the class and tell us which weapon do you do for us?
So basically, what I think they use in the battle are swords and bow and arrows in the battle. So, yeah.
Shukran very, very much. What is one of the main lessons you can take away from this battle for yourself or for Muslims in general?
In life, they will be trials and things that are tempting, but we should always remember that we have to follow Allah and His messages commands.
Subhanallah, very, very good, yes?
And then, we may not always be granted victory, but there will always be something to learn from a battle, especially and to listen to our Prophet and our Messenger.
Very, very good. Anything else? Thank you, Sabah.